Today's Hunter x Hunter character has got to be one of the most dominating characters in the entire series of Hunter x Hunter. And that's saying a lot when you got characters like this. And characters like this, where dominating powerful men is literally his forte, if you know what I mean. How the fuck does the Hunter x Hunter Association not have a pedo warning poster for this dude? Right now, we are going to be talking about one of the most overpowered and surprisingly, pretty smart character that is not talked about on YouTube. A warrior whose philosophy is, he is stronger than anyone or anything, nothing more. A warrior whose aesthetics and narrative revolves around the simplicity of the strength of ego. The man that doesn't believe in the idea of money. If he wants something, he takes it. He himself, not having the will of a grudge to boost his none, has made his body into an impenetrable fortress to stand against the will and grudge of his enemies that come back for revenge. As coming across people seeking revenge is what makes killing never get old. The 11th member of the Phantom Troop, Uvogin. As always, if you could do me a favor and please like the video and comment below who you think is the most underrated character in Hunter x Hunter. Also remember to subscribe for more Hunter x Hunter content. Uvogin's first introduction to the story is definitely one of the more boring ones. Every time you see him, he always has a smile on his face, super simple, headstrong, determined and super enthusiastic. He honestly comes off as a typical MC, always smirking at the thought of battle. He basically seemed an older version of Gon. Which is to be expected as they both are enhancers and enchancers share these traits. The thing that rubbed me the wrong way though, was why he never interacted with Hisoka. He is more than strong enough for Hisoka to be interested, or is it just that Hisoka is into scrawny men and little boys? Anyway, that would have been a dope fight. There was definitely wasted potential there, seeing his simple-minded tactics going against Bungee Gum would be a fight for the ages. He does seem loved by the other members though. As a founding member, he often takes the role of the headstrong big brother of the group. The first mission we see the Phantom Troop on was to steal all the treasure from the auction house. When the mission failed, we see Uvogin in his big brother role update Krallo on the situation at hand. A lot of Hunter x Hunter fans think that Uvogin is the typical meathead that just wants to fight and is too dumb to do anything else, but this was where even I was surprised. Uvogin gives Krallo the insight and the quite intelligent hypothesis he has of there being a Judas in the group. As it's too much coincidence that all the treasure was moved the exact day they decided to rob the auction. Uvogin also goes into all the information he got out of the auctioneer they tortured. He told Krallo all the inside info on the gangs. That there are 10 Dons who are mafia bosses that run the 10 districts of the world. He even told Krallo their structural hierarchy of there being the 10 Dons, then the Shadow Beasts who are top tier killers, who were handpicked each by the 10 Dons who were then hired to take on the top-tier mafia missions. He also got the info on the Shadow Beast being the ones that moved the treasure, and it specifically being a Shadow Beast called the Owl who wears sunglasses, who was able to make all the treasure disappear in an instance. This is some top-tier information gathering. I've never seen this in other anime where the meathead of the group is able to assess a situation like this. Looking ahead at all possibilities, thinking of the right questions to ask to get the right information he needed. This is all top-secret high-level information that is kept only by the Mafia members. Uvogin is unique to Hunter x Hunter as he was the first time we actually saw what a Master Enhancer was capable of. He didn't have any hacks, no fancy abilities, just his body and his Ranon. We first see him approach the Mafia members alone. Him versus over 100 Mafia members armed with gun and rocket launcher. He catches a bullet in his mouth. He then changed a vertically challenged Mafia member point of view to now being horizontally challenged. We see him tank sniper shots to head and throwing stones faster than bullets, easing getting headshots. He then proceeds to kill all the Mafia members, thus causing the Shadow Beast to be summoned. The other Phantom Troop members ask him if he needs any help, but with his ego being the size of Mars, he says no and then proceeds to underestimate the Sacred Beast, who is said to be some of the deadliest killers in the world. However, even though he loves fighting, it is good to point out that he never forgets the mission. Even before fighting the Shadow Beasts, he does ask them where the missing treasure is and who has it.
Shadow Beasts, huh? Where'd you hide the merchandise?
Uvogin then proceeds to destroy the 4 Shadow Beast members in the simplest ways possible. It is quite genius, to be honest. He then gets sucker punched from behind by Worm, a member of the Shadow Beast who was underground, breaking Worm's fingers from the impact of the punch. Uvogin then fires back a punch and grins, letting his guard down. Worm then traps him in an arm lock, grappling him to the ground. Now guess what Uvogin did to free himself? You guessed it. He punches the ground really hard, creating a crater and fatally injuring Worm in the process, only leaving a piece of Worm's arm behind. The other two Shadow Beast then attacks Uvogin. Porcupine leaps in, and the simple meat head that Uvogin is, he punches him. However, Porcupine has the ability to control all his hair follicles and send thousands of hair through Uvogin's fist, stopping the blow and sticking himself to Uvogin's arms. Uvogin, a genius in simplicity, that tries to use Porcupine's body to punch an other Shadow Beast member. But Porcupine is able to control all the follicles of his hair and was able to fully cushion the blow. Uvogin then gets bitten by Rabid Dog, another Shadow Beast member that releases a fast-acting neurotoxin, paralyzing Uvogin from the neck down only, so he could still feel pain. The next member, Leech, then proceeds to insert leeches in Uvogin's shoulder where Rabid Dog had originally bitten him. It seems over for Uvogin. Paralyzed from the neck down, with live leeches being inserted in his body, laying eggs that will kill him from the inside. Guess what this genius of simplicity did, only being able to move his head? He bit off a piece of Leech's head, brain, skull, and everything, killing him instantly. He then uses Nen to amplify his strength, shoots the piece of skull he had bitten off like a bullet, going straight through Rabid Dog's hand and skull. Porcupine, now scared for his life, is now assessing the situation. We've only seen him use physical moves, but because of my hair that can't harm me. Uvogin, the dumb meathead, thinks I can't punch him. Let me suck some air in and shout as loud as I can. He shattered Porcupine eardrums, immediately killing him. If you look at it in a vacuum, all these strategies that Uvogin used to beat the Shadow Beasts are extremely simple. But they are so simple that no one will think of it. So, no one can be prepared for it. That is why I think Uvogin is way smarter than we think. And a fight with him and Hisoka would be legendary. Stay tuned for part 2. Remember to like and subscribe.